And without context, it was possibly one of the most shocking sights I've ever seen in K-pop. Howdy, Meowers. Welcome back to the BlushCat podcast. My name is Walble, and today we are talking about Wannaone.
Yeah. Wanna, a name you probably haven't heard in a while, just like Walble. Haven't heard it in a while, but maybe you just heard it if you listened to last week's episode, because I mentioned it in that one, I believe. We were talking about IOI and ZB1 and double, and I was like, why can't they just do what Wannaone did?
Yes, we did actually mention them. So yeah, Wannaone. If you are not familiar, you're missing out, honestly. There's a lot that you missed out on, but don't feel too bad because we're gonna go through a lot in today's episode. They had a reunion, much like IOI, who, once again, we just talked about in last episode. And Wannaone is the first boy group that originated from one of Mnet's Produce series. So IOI came from Produce 101 Season 1. Wannaone came from Produce 101 Season 2.
And if you're super new here and you're not keeping up, it was called Produce 101 because there were 101 contestants, and then IOI is named that because it looks like 101, and then Wannaone is called that because it's like 101.
Yes, exactly. Pretty clever, honestly. They started out really strong with the group names. They ran out very quickly. Honestly, X1 was clever as well. Well, but anyway, we're not going to talk about that. So originally Wannaone had 11 members, but for this reunion, 9 members were in the majority of the content. Kong Daniel, we will be talking about more of what happened with Kong Daniel and Lai Quan Lin, but they were not able to appear for most of the activities that Wannaone did. And so the main thing that we're talking about is Wannaone Go Back to Base, which was the program that they had on Mnet. And maybe on this podcast you have heard us talk about Wannaone Go before. You've probably heard us mention Zero Base a lot, which is not to be confused with Zero Base 1, the group that was formed on an Mnet survival show, Boys Planet. No relation.
It's unnecessarily confusing. But yeah, so for this time, they go back, quote unquote, to Zero Base. But I feel like maybe they felt like it couldn't be called that anymore, so it's just called Wanna Base now. But it was originally it was originally Wannaone Go Zero Base. But now that there's Zero Base 1, they're like, well, okay, so it's Wanna Base. But it's all the same. It's the same concept. Zero Base from the long time ago time, and Wanna Base now.
Exactly. So we're kind of gonna just go through and talk about everything that we have been experiencing lately with Wannaone, and we maybe will get around to explaining things that the members were getting up to before this reunion and whatnot. But we're gonna explain more as we just start talking about it. So even if you know nothing about the group, you'll maybe be able to pick up some information as we talk. And if you saw Wannaone Go Back to Base, then you can relive all the moments that we're going to bring up. So yes, Wannaone Go Back to Base. Well, okay, I don't honestly know where to start. I was going to say, should I start with the negatives? Because I have fewer negatives than I do positives, and it'll be easier to just get them out of the way now. But, who wants to start with the negative things? But
some people.
okay, to give like, very general explanation, it's a giant building, like Wanna Base is a building, and
like a warehouse.
Yeah. But the interior is like there's a giant communal zone, but then each member has their own room, and it's a very like tiny little room, and there's no actual door, but they all got to say how they wanted their room to be decorated, and then they arrive at the base and they're like, oh wow, like this is what my little space looks like.
Yeah, like it's kind of like the size maybe of like an elementary school gym as the communal area, with like, I guess 11 technically, 11 like closets surrounding one whole wall, and then like another wall kind of like two of the corners, and the other walls have like a whole bunch of activities. They have a whole food section where they have like ramen station, cotton candy machine, like a a whole like I don't know, it's like not like they have a kitchen over there, but it's not like they just have a shelf of food. It's like,
right, it's a little bit more fun than that.
Yeah.
The whole thing is very, very fun.
Yes.
Like it's not typically decorated in any aspect. It's like more of an experience zone. And so I wish that they spent more time in their rooms in Zero Base. That was like a big thing that I thought when I was watching it. I was like, they're not really utilizing their rooms at all.
I agree 100%. That's one of the things that I wrote down as a negative. I did write down some negatives as well. And I wish they spent more time at, I was going to call it Zero Base, at Wanna Base, and like utilizing the rooms.
Yeah.
Pretty much the only thing they really utilized a lot of was the food station. Like the food station, and then like if there was a new thing, like when they brought the games in or whatever, they used those. But their actual rooms, I mean, they were there for like 2 seconds in terms of what we saw of content,
right. Yes. And then another big thing is that I wish that they did some more activities, like actual, like, we'll talk about it. Well, at least I want to bring it up when they played foot volleyball. Like that was a substantial activity. And while it is really fun to just see them like, acting the way that they were in the base, I feel like it was kind of just bits and pieces. And maybe that's because of the editing, which was another sort of like negative, is that it seemed, I don't know if it was like, because I know I said to you that I was like surprised how it was edited so similarly as the original Wanna원고 episodes, but at the same time I don't remember it being so pieced together. Like they kept cutting back to like moments and stuff, and it kind of felt all over the place.
Yeah. I just don't feel like they needed to do so much time, like, scrambling. Like, they were going forward and backwards in the timeline over and over again. So it was really hard to keep up, because it's like we would see them leaving off at one part at the Wanna Base, and then they would go and do this whole other segment, and then they'd be, like, cutting back to, like, right where they left off with something else.
Yeah.
It was really confusing. And also, now that I start thinking about the editing more, they actually did do a good number of activities, but they cut it all out for us. Like the main episodes covered like so many eating segments that were like half of them were sponsored, and then they were like, okay, and now choose between either this game or this game clip, and you can watch one of them next episode.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why don't you show us both the games and not one of the 5 eating scenes?
Yeah.
So that was kind of annoying.
Quick disclaimer. We have seen all of the initial 6 episodes of Back to Base. However, at the end of the final episode, they say, wait, there's actually going to be a special episode, and we're recording this too early, so we actually haven't seen that extra episode yet. And so maybe they're going to show us all the scenes that they made us choose between. You know, I would assume that they would have those included. And, you know, if anything that we say in this is like something we didn't like or something that we wish happened, and then it appears in that final episode, or like if it leads to a comeback or something, we'll talk about the comeback in an episode. Like whatever happens in that, I'll have no idea, but just like either woohoo or like, oh, okay, yeah, like we could have mentioned that and we didn't get to. So
yeah. I have one other negative, can I say?
Yeah.
No guests.
That was my next one.
Like, there was no point, there was no reason for them to have just random guests showing up. It was a funny concept for them to be like surprised by the fact that, oh, you guys are gonna have people visiting right now, and they're like, oh my god, we made a mess of this entire place. Mm-hmm. Like, sure, that's funny, but like it would have had to have been a guest that was relevant to the previous show. Like they initially were like, oh, I wonder who it is. Is it the driver that was like driving us around or something? But like it was not anyone that had any ties to the show previously. Mm-hmm. So I just don't think that part was necessary at all.
Yeah, it seemed like for the most part it was a little bit awkward, and it was clearly just a opportunity.
Yeah.
And so I just thought it was really unnecessary. And it was like, it was taking away time to see one-on-one doing stuff. Yeah. Because everybody was kind of just sitting around and like, you know, like some of the guests were better than others. That's for sure. But for the most part, it was really irrelevant to me.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I had that was a negative is, obviously I like completely understand Kwanlin and his whole situation, but I do wish that Daniel didn't have to enlist at the exact time that they did the show. But maybe there is a chance that he actually is glad it worked out that way. Yeah. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know how much he's like super upset that he's not a part of it, or how much he's like, oh, that would have really stressed me out. I would have really not wanted to do that or whatever. So that's, yeah. But I do wish that they tried to incorporate them, quote unquote, in terms of just like their reminiscing, and or the pillow. Like, you know, the first episode, they had GoPros on them as if it was like meant for them to be like pretend included. And I feel like they just didn't. And it just seems kind of awkward because it's like, oh, we're going to give you guys these little pillows that are like, here's the other member. Like, so you can like have them be a part of this. And then they just didn't have them be a part of it. It just makes it seem kind of awkward. That's like, oh, I thought you were going to like maybe like do something with that and you just didn't.
I mean, it's a little weird at the same time to like try to work that in when they're not actually there. Yeah, so like I kind of get it both ways.
They just left them like in their rooms, just like flopped down. Like they could have like brought them out into the community area and like sat them in a chair there or something. Like they literally just ignored them completely.
But yeah, now the positives. In general, obviously, if you were a fan of Wanna and you liked watching Wannawango, you're probably going to enjoy this program. It was really cool that they had the reunion in this, you know, like regular of a scale, and they brought back something so iconic. Clearly everybody involved recognized how iconic Zero Base as a concept was, and so it was really fun to have them recreate that. And the general vibes are nice with everybody like reuniting, but also it's funny because several of them have YouTube shows where the others will appear frequently. So it's not like these people, like, it's not like we haven't seen any of these members interact since Wanna disbanded. Like, we have plenty of times, but it was still fun to see Wanna because it's so different than I mean, like, honestly, a lot. Like, Wannaone is very different, but I'll talk about that later.
Like, you mean different than other things, not different than it used to be.
Right, different than other things. It's exactly the same as it used to be.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to say, is it was so nice to see that it was just, like, one-on-one content. Like, it really did not seem weird at all. Like,
how are the dynamics exactly the same?
I don't know. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy because it was just so, like, as a whole, this content and this reunion, like, moment was just, like, very one-on-one, what we all liked. Like, it just worked. Like, it wasn't like, oh, that they're gonna come back, like, we're gonna see. Like, it was just, I don't know, it was just more of what we already liked. It wasn't weird at all.
It was really cool, actually, how they, like, how it felt so much, like, it felt like that could have been content that was released when they were active as one-on-one.
Yeah, and so, like, I loved all of the ways that they made sure to do the references and the throwbacks to, like, make it the same, because it was like, oh wow, this is so cool, like, this is so fun, they're doing, like, zero base again, and they're like, oh, they make him wear the same stupid striped shirts again. And, like, they had the same driver, and, like, those things were all really fun and cool, but also, like, it just made so much sense. Like, they didn't even need to do those things in order to be like, well, like, it felt a little bit the same because they brought these things back, but otherwise it was, like, different. It's like, no, like, even if they hadn't brought any of that stuff back, it still would have been just like, this is just still one-on-one.
Yeah. And so all of that in general was making it a really good time, and like, more on, like, the members like, the members and their personality. Like, Daehui was very clearly different from how he was back when Wannaone was active, but I thought it was interesting how he kept recognizing that about himself, and I think that he was acting the exact same way that he always acts now, like in AB6 content and solo content, everything like that. So it just shows his growth, and, like, he understands, like, how he was in Wannaone. So I thought that was kind of funny. And, like, Jihoon, his whole sentiment was really getting to me, and we already talked about it a little bit, and the other members were all acknowledging it too, but he was saying how the Back to Base show was making him feel, like, youthful again and stuff, not just because he could, like, you know, revert back to his past mindset, but he's like, this is my true self. And so I feel like I think about that kind of thing a lot in all sorts of contexts, and, like, people trying to preserve that. So it was nice to hear that he got that opportunity to experience that through this whole thing that happened. And so maybe it'll be helpful for him going forward, like, no matter what he's doing.
Yeah, he seemed like he was having an excellent time.
Yeah.
And everything that he was doing and saying was so funny. Like, I guess we'll bring up specific moments later.
Yeah.
But it was really cool to see how, especially for some of the members, probably him the most though, they were having, like, such a good time.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, it just, K-pop groups or idols in general, you know, they'll make, like, healing time content a lot, but the healing time, you know, vacation-y aspect, probably mixed with and on top of, like, a reunion / nostalgia / like, it must have just been like a compiling of factors that just made it seem like for some people it was, like, really, like, joyous almost.
Yeah, definitely. And, like, Yeah, it just so clearly seemed that way. It didn't seem forced, it didn't seem like anybody was forced to be there. But it was also interesting to see, like, the people that haven't been active as idols and they've turned to the acting path. Like, Jihoon is more like we will maybe get around to talking about his recent comeback, but he is more active as an actor than he is as an idol these days. But other members are the same, but it's like, in general, I think that you can sort of feel that way about non-idol celebrities, I guess, is that they're like, they don't know how to have a fun time like that. They're not gonna let loose and get all crazy. And I mean, we kind of see that when we see, like, the game caterers days and stuff, like the differences between the actors and the idols. But it's like they completely just, like, they probably just don't have any opportunities to be like that. So I like that they totally just embraced that is the state that you're in when you are, like, doing one-on-one content.
Yeah, it is so different, I feel like, from, like, the majority of people in those two different professions.
Yeah.
Like, the actors are, I don't know if it's just, like, on camera. It's like they're used to, when they're on camera, being serious and being scripted and being, like, if they're silly, it's like that's part of the script.
Yeah.
And otherwise they're just like, I guess I'm just, gonna exist as, like, a normal person that's, like, doing an interview or something. But idols, like, are so, like, content creator, like, coded in, like, when I'm making content, like, I'm gonna, like, make content. It's not like, so yeah, it's very different. But everybody just seemed, yeah, like you were saying, not forced at all, and not like can you imagine, like, I know it sounds so dumb to say, but, like, none of them seemed old, in the sense that, like, so much time had passed. And you can imagine if it's like, this group is gonna have a reunion after so many years, you can imagine them being like, oh, we're grown up now, we're more mature,
yeah.
We don't do these things. But, like, they were just still the same.
I really appreciate how they weren't like that.
Yeah,
because, like,
it would have been so,
I mean, in real life, people will be like that, and it's like, why do you gotta be so, like, serious all the time?
Yeah. So I thought that it might be kind of like that, when it's like, oh, everybody's going to be going back to base. Like, are they going to be able to still, like, enjoy it in the same way? But they did immediately.
Yeah.
Like, I love, you see the people driving around in the cars and, like, using the Nerf guns and stuff, and it was, like, good. Like, they're not, like, being like, oh, I can't. I mean, there was, like, one or two instances where someone was like, I'm too old for that now. But then Jisung is like, are you kidding me? Like, I was your age when I did it.
Oh, that was funny. Yeah. So that was all good. And to bring back Kwanlin for a minute, I didn't expect him to appear as much as he did, or for him to feel the way that he expressed he feels about Wannawanko. So that whole inclusion of him was really sweet, and I definitely would have been emotional if I was him or the members. Like, wow, that was a lot.
Yeah, that was crazy, because I thought he, like, had just completely, I didn't even know. Like, I was just like, he's just gone. He's not in K-pop anymore. He's not an idol, he doesn't care about any of that. Like, he has no interest in any of that, otherwise he would be doing it. And then one day, it's just showing up in my feed randomly. It's like, oh, he's a director now. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? He's a director now? And that's all I knew. But so to see him on the show, like in the segment that they did, I was so surprised that, like, he was as, like, removed from it all as he was. Like, he was basically like, I can't imagine going back onto a stage and performing as an idol again right now. Like, it's just so not part of my life. I can't imagine doing that. but also I cherish that time so much.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I can't believe those two things are existing like concurrently. It's crazy.
I mean, to me, it seems like such a normal thing that could happen, but it's so like unheard of for people to actually talk about feeling that way.
Yeah. I really appreciated that they included that, like that he said it and that he said it publicly, like we got to all see it, because I heard him talking and I'm like, oh, like, okay, like, I totally understand, like, of course you wouldn't be there, like, and you're gonna be sad that you're missing that in a nostalgic part of your heart and mind, but otherwise you're like, you've made the decision and you really just don't want to do it, and so okay, like I can accept it.
So that was all like generally the vibe of what was going on. But now I think that we should bring up some specific moments that were funny or whatever else. So what do you want to talk about?
I'd like to just start by giving a brief shout out to some of the rooms.
Okay.
Because I think it's really, really funny and iconic that Bae Jin-young wanted a ball pit again.
Yeah.
And so they gave him one, but they also made it the entrance.
Yeah.
So he literally didn't even have like a real room. That was funny.
That was funny. It was also funny though how like, it wasn't just the entrance, but it was like literally a pit. So all the members, I mean, they had the ladder, but they all did opt to jump into the ball pit for most of the time. And like, you know, I respect that. They were having fun with it. Yeah.
And like some of the guests as well jumped in. And I'm like, this is crazy. Also, Daehui's room having the actual credit card that they just realized to heist out of there and start using. That was wild. I think that I really liked seeing the utilization of the rooms, but like once again, it was for like a moment. Like when Ong Sung-woo was like making the drinks and he had his like vacation shirt on for like 5 minutes, like that was so funny.
It was giving soda machine.
It was giving
like, do you know how pivotal Like Wan Lin's soda machine was to my experience with Wanna원고 Zero Base?
It pivotal is the word. Yes, it actually was. And so but I love that Woojin, he had like an upgraded version of his room the previous time, because like he still had like things to put together and build, but it was not a toy this time, it was actual furniture.
It was really funny how he made them realize the importance of the table that he built. It was,
and it was also really funny how when he was building it, he was missing out on the other stuff, and he was like, you know, they're all just doing that, and I'm busy building this. And I'm like, well, you're choosing to build it, but like, it was just really iconic, really good times. What was one of the rooms that you liked?
I liked Jihoon's room because it was like it was so similar. He was just like, I want plushies in my room, and so they're like, okay, here. And I like how he remembered what he did with them the first time too.
I really liked how a lot of them had similar wants for their room as before, because it's like, oh, you either totally recognize the iconicness of it, or like you love the nostalgia of it, and or you're like, I'm just not really that different, like I still would want this as my room. And it's like, that's just so fun. And honestly, Minhyun's room being cleaning, but like extreme upgraded version, and how he actually like put the suit on and was like cleaning Wanna Base, that was still funny. Because relatable. Absolutely.
I think that a general moment about the base was that it was funny how they were all freaking out whenever there was a secret door or a new occurrence, and when they were all panicking, thinking that the building was going to explode. That was so funny.
Yeah, that was really good. I loved when they were outside to cook the barbecue, and it was like pouring rain. They had to like slosh the water off the canopy tarp thing and stuff, and like Jihoon was burning the onions and everything.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Those were some good times. Good times.
True.
Minhyun put the chair together and then he sat in it and fell, and he was like, well, I'm the one that put it together. Yeah. Really good.
Sorry. You can go ahead.
Well, I just was gonna say I have a favorite moment, but I don't know if I should mention it now because it happened so late. Like, it happened in the final episode.
All right, hold off on it for now, but don't forget about it.
Okay.
But I just want to say I also really like, and I feel like it definitely occurred more in this than it did in previous one-on-one content, and it makes sense considering how everybody has been spending their time. But they turned to acting so many times. Like they started creating these scenarios, and like especially Jihoon. It was really funny though whenever he did that because it was so flawless. Like he all of a sudden would just start talking a certain way or pretending like he was acting out a scene, and everybody just immediately followed along or thought it was really funny.
It was really funny.
Yeah.
I know earlier I said no guests, but that does not count the dogs.
Yes,
I think the dogs were absolutely valid and adorable. And it's like throwing back to when they brought Kong Daniel his cats. So I'm like, yeah, the dogs are welcome. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So cute.
Loved to see that. Would love to see more.
Yeah,
maybe we'll get that clip in the special extra episode that
Hopefully.
we didn't get because people apparently didn't choose that clip.
I don't know why they would have not chosen that one, but whatever.
We actually did a BlushCat podcast episode where we talked about K-pop idols and their pets, and we talked about Jisung's dog in that episode. So if you want, you can go ahead and listen to that episode. Thank you. This is a bit of a random moment, but I thought that it was really funny when Jihoon sent the apology text before he sent the penalty picture on BlushCat, and all the Wannables were freaking out, and all the members were like, you gotta hurry and send the picture. Like, that was like definitely could cause misunderstanding, and like it almost did. But it was really funny how they all knew that it would look really bad for him to just apologize out of nowhere.
Yeah. I also liked how him and Ong Sang-woo did, like, they did their ramen moment again.
Yeah.
I wish that it would have, like, they really did recreate it, like, with the head scratching, which was an iconic part of it, but we didn't get another bark.
Yeah, the bark is so iconic.
Yeah, the bark is hilarious. If you don't know, if you haven't seen, you gotta watch Park Ji-hoon eating the hot ramen, spicy ramen in Wannamongo Zero Base, because he literally, like, amidst like thinking it's hot, it's like literally sounds like he barks like a dog. Like, it's not intentional. It's not like it's not like, oh, he barked. It's like, no, it really, like, was that a bark? He's like choking, I guess, but like
yeah. I also liked all the stuff with the song selection process and the recording behind. That's always interesting. Like, seeing behind the scenes type of stuff is always interesting to me.
Yeah, and I loved how it was so much more relevant than I thought it was going to be. Well, like, when they were first going in the room and like saying what they were going to do, they're like listening to the songs or whatever. I'm like, this is weird. Like, they're just going to listen to these random songs and pick one of them. But then it was like so much of the songs were relevant. And I was like, oh, okay, never mind. It's totally, like, completely understandable.
Yeah.
I like how they really made sure to give Bae Jin-young his moment, because he literally was not like, he was actively enjoying everything going on, but he was not like actively participating, in the sense that like he wasn't really creating very many moments for himself in terms of the content.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like everybody was kind of like, you know, Bae Jin Young, like, where are your parts gonna be? Because like you've kind of just like been here. But he was having a good time if you watched. So I'm really glad that they like did continue to like point it out, and they like gave him the little, you know, talking line at the end. That was nice, because otherwise he really would have flown like so far under the radar, I feel like.
Yeah, that was a good way to include him. Okay, I am ready to talk about the secret missions at the photo shoot.
Yes, I think this was their strongest, not that there were that many like extra segments, but this was their strongest segment that's like not a zero base, that's just like, you know, it's like, okay, you guys are gonna go do something now, or, you know, this is the strongest one. Like really not at all what I expected, even though I should have expected it, but like so good.
Yeah, I didn't expect the missions to go as far as they did, but it just completely devolved into chaos. And
are we going to be having spoilers?
We are going to be having spoilers.
Okay. Big spoilers, guys, for how the missions were turning out.
Yes. Do you want to just quickly explain like the concept of this?
Sure. So they all got in separate cars to go and leave Wanna Base. And were given a cue card. The cue card had a mission on it, and it was a different mission for each person, but they each, like, they were all aware that they were all going to be having a secret mission. You know, sometimes in secret mission scenarios, one person has a secret mission and nobody else knew that there was a secret mission going on. They were all aware. They just didn't know what each other person's secret mission was. And then they get to this place, and come to find out, they're doing a legitimate photo shoot with Elle, but they also have to do their secret missions amidst all of the rest of this. So it's like really already crazy. But they were really like motivated to do these secret missions because they were told that they would be getting a benefit in whatever the next thing was to come if they completed their mission, or a penalty if they did not complete their mission.
Yes. So you can bet that every single member was determined to complete their mission by the end of this photo shoot. And so we just, like, I mean, so much was going on, but I need to talk about Daehui shoving his hand into Minhyun's mouth to prevent him from announcing the time, because Minhyun's mission was every hour he had to announce the time loudly and then blow the little party blower thing. And we saw, like, there was a little preview of that instance when Daehui is trying to prevent Minhyun from completing his mission. And without context, it was possibly one of the most shocking sights I've ever seen in K-pop, or just anywhere else in general. And with context, it was honestly still just as shocking, but maybe slightly less concerning.
I think it was so shocking the first time that I completely forgot about it, because then when it happened in the actual context, I was like so shocked until they like showed the exact moment that they had already showed, and I was like, oh yeah, I saw this already.
Yeah,
it was crazy. But I mean, honestly, Minhyun had one of the easiest ones.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just about the only way he could have failed, as if someone did that. Like, how else was he gonna fail?
Yeah. But, I mean, Daehui, he really was actually very iconic in this whole mission. Like, I mean, like, he was doing some mastermind behavior here. He, like, the fact, though, like, that he did one of the most dramatic actions that anybody did, but he was the one the whole time who was being like, oh, like, it's not that type of content, do we really have to take it this far, and stuff like that. And, like, you know, he just wanted peace and a good time, but then he does that to stop Minhyun. It was just really funny.
It was the karma, because Minhyun wronged him.
Yes, but he was a genius, and he already had a balloon animal made ahead of time. Like, that was so brilliant. I had a feeling. I was like, is there really, like, is this the end for him? Like, I don't want to believe it. And I didn't have to.
It's kind of crazy the difference between, because there were two people who were both given difficult and fragile tasks that they needed to hide away from anyone until it could be completed. And so it's really crazy the difference between someone who could get their task done quickly and someone whose task took over a half an hour of hiding. Because Daehui, we saw him like sneaking around and like hiding, you know, behind like a trash can and stuff to try and work on his balloon animal. And it was so funny, even at those parts, like the things he was saying to the people, how he's like, oh, you're going to be blessed. And like, you know, good fortune will come your way. Like, I don't remember the lines he was saying, but they were so funny.
Yeah.
And that could have gone so bad if someone had found out what his task was earlier and he hadn't been able to hide away his balloon animal.
Yeah.
You know, because it would have been popped in an instant. Meanwhile, you know, obviously the other one we have to mention is Woojin having to pick all those seeds out of the strawberry. Like, he was on guard to those strawberries from moment one.
Yeah.
You know? Oh my God, he was just literally doing such an excellent job. I'm like, who else could literally be doing this right now besides him?
Nobody.
Yeah. And then he even got found and like was still gonna be okay. Like, the person who found him was like gonna leave him alone, and it's like, thank God, because like, what has he been through? And then Ha Sung-woon comes in like a psychopath, absolute maniac, and just ruins everything. And then Park Jihoon, I mean, I think he was just having the time of his life, so he really, like, he said, okay, we're committing now, and he gobbled up that other strawberry, and they said, okay, we're done.
I felt so terrible.
I was heartbroken.
Like,
oh my God.
would have just, because that type of thing, you know, when you're doing something like that for that amount of time, you just really want to see it through. Just like, you know, who cares at this point whether you get a benefit or whatnot? It's just, you need to complete the task.
Exactly, 100%. You're like, it's just like, it was so close to being done, and then like, it would have been something that you did.
Yeah.
So for someone to literally just smash it to pieces in front of you and then run away is crazy.
Completely valid villain origin story.
Yes. When he had his arc of just being like a terror after that, I was like, this makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ha Sung-woon, he didn't even have any reason to be like, you know, a terror towards the other people at that point. Like, he was doing fine. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So those missions were fantastic. It was just really so funny to see all of the people. Oh my God, no, another one I have to mention.
Well, yeah, we have to mention, I want to mention two more.
Yeah. I want to mention Jisung with the proverbs.
Yes.
Oh my God. I don't understand how he worked 20 proverbs into conversation without getting called out. That was crazy. His first instance, the very first proverb that he said, I thought immediately someone was going to be like, that's your task.
Me too. I thought it was so obvious. I thought somebody else would be like, this is so obviously just your mission.
Yes. And so then when he said the second one, I said, okay, it's so obvious now. And then the third one, and it only gets more obvious the more that he does. But no one had a clue. And Park Jihoon,
literally,
his responses were hilarious.
Literally, like, hilarious. Like, I thought he was being serious, or I thought he wasn't being serious at first, and that he was on to him.
Yeah.
But then I could tell, no, I think he is being serious. His responses seemed so genuine that I'm like, how, like, I don't know.
Jisung's literally like looking at his phone, puts it down, states a proverb that is vaguely fitting for the moment. And Park Ji-hoon's like, blah, blah, blah. What are you talking about? Well, you can't just say that. Like, lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink? What are you talking about? And like, that was it.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
So
I
crazy.
feel like part of me still feels like there's no way. Like, did they have a secret pact that they never showed us? Like, I don't understand how he just had those responses to the proverbs every single time.
I think Jisung was just somehow iconically pulling it off in the best way ever. Like, I can't imagine that ever working ever again for any other person. Yeah. But it was so funny, and like, I was rooting for him, you know, with every next proverb that he said. I was like, okay, only 17 more to go. You've got this. Okay, only 12 more to go. Like, it was great.
Yeah. And then obviously Sungwoo with the noodles. Right from the beginning, that was just such a funny situation, but it, like, the dedication once again was very impressive.
And his was crazy because it was known what it was. Like, he probably had the earliest one. Like, everybody was aware of what he had to do.
Yeah.
So I totally thought it was going to be stopped, and I really thought that Woojin would permanently end it because his was like his was unrecoverable. So I thought Ong Sung-woo's was so easily also unrecoverable makeable. It was so easy to make it unrecoverable as well, but it didn't end up being that way.
Yeah. I think probably, though, the very start of his mission was the most funny, like, part about it. How he had to actually get it delivered and, like, call for it himself and then wait for that truck to get out of the way. That was really funny.
I really hope that delivery man had an iconic story to tell that day.
Yeah. Okay, I would also like to bring up, obviously, the foot volleyball, because I really liked that segment. It was really good. This was another, like, prominent activity that they did outside of the base.
Really good, really like high suspense, I guess, you know. And the best group of foot volleyball players I've seen, probably, in terms of content.
Yeah.
Like, most groups I feel like struggle at least a little bit. Some groups struggle immensely. But they were just like playing like a regular game.
Yeah, like you can
like
tell,
a regular sport.
You can tell multiple people like do this regularly.
Yeah.
I also would like to, I think this is like the only other specific stuff that I would bring up about the program is the beach segment and the campfire, because it all just seemed very real. It was giving a new perspective, and it was interesting to hear how everybody thought of their time in Wanna. Like, it seemed like such a just a normal group of people that experienced this time in their lives together, and like less like they were talking specifically about an idol activity period, you know? Like, I don't know, it was just like I liked hearing how they were remembering such small details, like when Sung-woon talked about the building that they got their hair and makeup fixed in. Like, I feel like I don't usually get to hear the details like that, or like the small little moments that they remember.
Yeah. And you're saying it seems so real. Like, I liked how Minhyun, when they were having the sentimental moments, was just like, do you think the potatoes are ready? Like, do you think I can take them out of the fire? And Woojin's like, at a time like this? Like, in this climate, basically? And he's like, yeah. And then he just, like, gets up and starts doing it. It was really funny, too, because it's like, I mean, when is there going to be a good time? Because the whole time is a content piece that's being filmed, so, like, can't I just get up and do it?
Yeah.
This is when my favorite instance happened. Okay. Although there are so many good ones, but this, just like the amount of iconicness to it and memeability is so funny. When they're at the beach and they're going to talk about that wasn't at the beach. Oh, it was earlier than that.
Uh-oh.
Wait, was it?
I have no idea.
I completely forgot about when they played the shooting
game.
Completely forgot about that. But I think it's from that, isn't it? When they were going to reveal who had the points, like who was the lowest scoring member, and who said it? I'm getting all confused now. Somebody did this joke where they said after 60 seconds.
Jisung, yeah.
It was so funny. That part was just like hilarious because then Daehwi was like nightmares. Like,
yeah,
like, nightmares.
And I know that is exactly how Daehwi always acts in those sorts of situations. Sorry to trigger everybody with this, but when he was watching the build-up finale, he was viewing it like he was an audience member for the finale, and they did that, and like even then, even though he wasn't directly involved, he was getting that exact same way.
It's just literally so funny because that show had the more of the show was that than anything else, you feel like. And so it was just so funny that they had a moment where they brought that back.
Yeah, Jisung's sense is definitely still so good. Like, he's just so funny.
Yeah. But okay, that's probably about all we have to say about the Wannaongo back to base content.
Yes, but they did actually release 2 new songs that were tied to the show. They have We Wanna Go, which was I want to call it the signal song, like the intro song.
Theme song.
Yeah, theme song. And then they have Spring Breeze Again, which is the song that we saw the recording behind of and that they were all voting on in the show. And so We Wanna Go, I'll just say that, it's a fun song. I like how they have an upbeat song and then they have like a more sentimental song. And I like how they talked about how there's a clear killing part and it's obviously going to Minhyun.
Yeah, I for the longest time hadn't heard this song in full. I was only hearing the theme song clips of it, and for it to literally just be like go get it, go get it, go get it, go, I'm like, okay, I get it. But as a whole, thankfully there are more words than that. It just, it sounds very one, and Spring Breeze Again sounds very one as well. But then that song is giving very, like, for me, I was never like loving Spring Breeze. Like, there's so many other 101 songs that I like more. And so for it to be called Spring Breeze Again, it was kind of giving like Spring Breeze Again. Like, okay. But it's nice. Like, both of the songs are very 101 feeling, but like I haven't actually like heard them that much or anything. So to me it's kind of, and like, we all know that for me, a song getting promoted does a lot more for it. And so for these to just be like songs, I'm just like, okay, yeah.
Okay. See, when I see that it's called Spring Breeze Again, I'm like rubbing my hands together, thinking like, perfect, like this is for me. So I love this one. Like, immediately I was just like, oh yeah, this is 101. This is so it. Like, they did exactly what they needed to do. So I really love this one. I think that the pause that happens in the song, and then there's the tape sound, that was an excellent choice. And then how there's a chorus at the end where everybody's singing together, those types of moments are always enjoyable to me. So obviously, like, this song is perfect.
I liked hearing some of the vocal tones again from 101 that were nice, like Woojin's rap parts, even though obviously you still can hear that on AB6 pretty much fine. Bae Jinyoung's vocal tones, like I enjoyed those aspects. Also, this is completely unrelated, but I forgot about the tests that they took, and that part was funny too.
Yeah. I think that it was so refreshing to hear Sungwoo's vocals again. Because, I mean, I feel like out of everybody, he has the least music. But he adds such a distinct sound. So that was nice. But, I mean, let's talk about that a little bit, because it's always a good time for some recommendations, am I right? So just like thinking back and re-experiencing everything, Wannaone, they did have really good music. Like, personally, I thought all of their songs were good, and they're just such real, complete, full songs. And so obviously I would recommend Spring Breeze. And the entire 1 to the 11th power equals 1 Power of Destiny album. When am I not gonna mention that? Okay, I mean, how many times have I already mentioned it? Not enough. Not enough. But One's Place is a great one. Deeper is a great one, and One Love. Those are all on that album. But also I want to shout out We Are, because I feel like this might be their most underappreciated song, but all these years later, it's still a bop. So I don't know why it seems like it has the least amount of plays compared to all the other songs.
I don't know it.
Well, okay.
I don't know so many of their B-sides though, honestly.
You're missing out.
I'm a big fan of Light.
Yeah, I know. See, like, Light is good, but I'm a fan of the other style. Like, I mean, but then again,
like,
I feel like...
I Promise You?
Yeah, I was going to say,
See,
I feel
never...
like that is probably the closest one to Light for some reason.
Really?
But you don't really like that one, and I do.
Yeah, like, it's fine. I don't have any problems with it, but I'm never like, oh, yes, I Promise You is on. But Light, I'm like, yeah!
Yeah. And then, okay, in general, once again, like, just, I gotta say it, okay? I've got to point out the differences between, like, Wannaone and groups now. Seeing them have all this stuff again and revisiting the old stuff, like, the climate was just so vastly different back then than it is now. And like I alluded to with IOI and seeing their reunion, there's just a clear difference skill-wise between, like, a third-gen group and some, okay? Obviously not all.
There are plenty that we talk about all the time that we're raving about how good they are. So.
Yeah. But some of the, most popular groups today, okay? There just is. It's obvious. And, like, especially considering the fact that a majority of the Wannaone members aren't even really active as idols and never even really seemed like they were locked in to the idol path. You know what I mean?
It's true.
But they were still, like, doing it and delivering.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. But also, like, comparing Wannaone to ZB1, it just feels different. Like, the fans are different, the expectations are different, the songs and, like, the quality are different. They're both good, but in such different ways. And I feel like when ZB1 first debuted, I was noticing more similarities, but now seeing where they're both at, I'm like, wow, it feels so different.
Yeah, like, if I'm trying to put my finger on it, I want to say that Wannaone seems more tangible. Like, ZB1 seems more like, I don't know, ethereal or something. Like, they seem more like wispy. Okay. And, like, Wannaone seems more like real, like ground.
Sure. Okay.
Flesh.
All right. Yeah, maybe I would describe ZB1 as floaty.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And and Wannaone is, like, grounded.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
It's just, like, very different feelings.
Yeah. But okay, I think that we should shout out Park Jihoon and his recent comeback that we never talked about in our April comebacks episode, because he is the member to have a release most recently, and it had been a long time since he had been active as an idol. And so he had 3 songs, and I liked them all personally. I mean, I've been following all the members relatively since Wanna days. But like, you know, there were some releases that I missed. But this one, I think, like, you know, I'm glad I checked it out because they're nice songs. They've got good vibes. It's like very lazy summer, dreamy vibes. He did lose me in his music video when it got to the chorus. Like, suddenly the vibe was completely different, and I was thinking, I don't really see how this fits, but okay. But yeah, like, he did seem like he was having a good time out there. And I wanted to point out that his song I Can't Hold Your Hand Anymore sounds like Blitzers. And I also want to say that it's crazy to me that people don't know he was in 101. Like, whenever I think about that as a concept, I'm just like, like, no, like, what do you mean? This is not, like, no, like, you have to know that he was in 101. But he got so popular because he's had massively successful movies and dramas since 101, and so everybody is more familiar with him as an actor these days than they are as an idol. So, like, I get it, but still.
I don't get it because he was massively successful in 101.
True.
Like, 101 was huge, you know, like, it was the biggest thing, was it not? I mean, that's the way that it was always, you know, proclaimed. So that's crazy. I thought that Park Ji-hoon's music video was compelling. Like, that was the word that I used to describe it, because I was kind of like, oh, like, what's going on here? And also, I thought he was rocking the short hair. This was the first time I saw it, but then in 101 Go, he made it sound kind of like he was like, oh, like, what am I supposed to do with this short hair? But I think he pulls it off.
Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, I agree with that. It's also worth mentioning to all of our Meowers, Howdy, that we regularly cover releases from the members of 101. We will regularly review AB6 comebacks, CIX when they were happening. Kong Daniel, we talked about plenty of his comebacks. And in our, I think it was our January comebacks episode when Ha Sung-woon had his song, we did talk about that. And so, like, you know, we've been keeping up, like I said, in a relative sense with these people and their groups. But, like, the biggest ones are probably, like, that were the most regularly active as idols were AB6, CIX, and Kong Daniel. So those are the ones that are going to come up more frequently.
Yes. So should we do a speed round of where are they now?
Sure.
Okay. Kong Daniel in the military, but when he wasn't soloist. Can I say I think that some peak songs, SOS, and on a different vibe, Who You Are, that one, I love the beat, so good. Kong Daniel dance practices, really good if you like dance practices that are really, like, punchy.
Okay, I would like to shout out his, I don't remember what the name of the album is called, if it's called Electric Shock or not, but, like, the one with Electric Shock on it, that whole album is good. And the song that he has with Chang'e that's on that album is, like, I really like the style that one is in.
Yeah. Okay, AB6 is where Daehui and Woojin currently are.
Even though, I mean, now AB6 is, you know, hiatus for who knows how long, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that they were a regular group.
For me, I know it's maybe these ones are maybe a little old, but I'm still a big fan of The Answer.
Okay.
And then gotta shout out the iconic Breathe.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, it's, like, so iconic for me, you know. I need to breathe.
Yeah. I'm always partial to the Mo Complete Have a Dream EP. Even though at this point it's old, but I mean, the vibes those days were so strong.
Okay. Bae Jinyoung was a soloist, but was in CIX. So like if you're looking for what he had been doing for a long portion of time, you could go to CIX. And I was really not paying any attention to them at all for pretty much the entire time that they existed.
It's a shame.
With Bae Jinyoung in it. But then Lovers or Enemies really got me on board. And then it all just kind of, yeah. So what about you?
I did not. And I don't plan to, honestly, check out at least his solo debut. I don't know what he's going to do now, but I don't have anything to say about that because I know absolutely nothing. But anyway, CIX, yeah, the hits that they made, man. Oh, man, I'll shout out Save Me, Kill Me, obviously, and Wondering from their Japanese album. Why not? It's a bop.
Every time that Bae Jinyoung's voice comes up anywhere, I'm like, I cannot believe I wasted so much time not realizing how much I love his vocal tones. Okay, Ha Sung-woon. He's done some songs, soloist. Gotta shout out Bird.
Yeah, Bird. I mean, still iconic.
Iconic. And then also Sneakers,
Yeah.
It's classic.
Oh, that's a good EP. Yeah, On and On is a nice, like, city pop sort of, like, but like mellow, like vibe, like I really like that one.
Okay, Park Jihoon also had some soloist stuff. It's been very intermittent, like not a lot, but I just wanted to shout out Wings is kind of the one that I feel like I would be the most like, ooh yeah, but I have to also mention 3600 because it's like, why do you say 360 and then say 0?
Those seem so unbelievably long ago.
They do. They seem longer ago than Wannables, honestly.
I don't know how it's possible, but yeah. I don't know. It's been a while since I've listened to his music, but I was going to shout out 3600. So, but also Gotcha. Why not?
Okay. And then I don't have enough information on any of the rest of the people, so if you want to take it away with any of the other ones, but those are probably the ones that were the most like relevant to me throughout all of this time.
All right, well, I'll shout out Jihoon and his Crash Landing on You OST. He does a lot of OSTs, and his solo music is very like, it's giving drama OSTs. So if you like OSTs, his music is the place to be. And I mean, also Ha Sung-woon has like a good bit of drama OSTs or songs of his own that are in that style. But I'm not like super well versed in his music. And like Minhyun, I mean, he did go back to New East for a while, so shout out to New East. Yeah. But then they disbanded, and I think for the most part he's just been acting. I do want to watch Study Group and Alchemy of Souls, but I'll be honest, I haven't seen them yet, even though I know that they're huge, and everybody thinks really highly of them. So maybe at some point I will watch them. And Sungwoo, he hasn't had much music either, but some of like the songs that I have heard, like, they're good. They were playing one in the Back to Base episode, like the last episode, but I can't remember what it's called, but I like that one. It's like, a refreshing sort of style. And I'll shout out to Moment of 18 because that was like, his first like drama that I saw with him in it, and it's still a good one. And then there is, not like we can really shout out Boy Disney as we call him, but Kwanlin, we all remember I'm a Star, right?
Honestly, it's crazy that he had that. Like, that's just like another thing that he exists as a part of, because it's like the only other thing. So
let's go to Saturn.
It was good. It was good. Big fan of Boy Disney and Roni, like, that we gave them both nicknames, that it's good when they both get a nickname. So yeah, classic times.
And like I mentioned earlier, like Daehui, he had a program where one-on-one guests would go on it More Than Once, and Woojin with his YouTube channel, Ha Sung-woon, Jisung, they all have YouTube channels, and they, like, the other members appear. And so every now and again, I'll tune into that.
Oh, yeah, and Jisung, he also had a song kind of recently. That was a nice, refreshing song.
Yeah. I guess I should also specifically mention some of Jihoon's dramas, because I actually think that I've seen the most from him, even though I haven't necessarily heard the most of his music. But Weak Hero Class was, like, you know, a very, very popular one that he had. And I didn't see the second one yet. But back when the first one came out, I did watch that. But it's very, very dark. So I'm not always, like, you know, a fan of ones that are that dark. But it was, like, a well-made drama. It wasn't, like, so terrible flop. But it was just kind of, you know, very, very intense. But At a Distance, Spring is Green is one that I would recommend for something very lighthearted and more of a classic K-drama school sort of environment.
Okay. And shout out to Kong Daniel. I forgot he also was in a drama that I would have considered watching if I could have. But...
Yeah, there were a lot of people in that I like, that I have seen in other dramas, but I never got a chance to watch it. So yeah, that concludes our Wannaongo episode. What did you all think? Wannables, Meowers, did you enjoy it? If you did enjoy it, you can like this episode wherever you're listening to it, and leave a comment and share your thoughts on Wanna1, on BlushCat, on the members as soloists, or whatever else you feel like saying that is nice and positive and thoughtful. Also, please remember to subscribe to the BlushCat channel on YouTube and turn on notifications if you have not already done so and want to support good, nice people, which would be us.
True. Thank you so much.
This has been Walble.
And me. Bye.
Meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow.